Alright, the new iPad lineup just leaked, so here's everything you need to know about the future of the Apple iPad. Plus, I threw in a little extra Apple news in there at the end for you. Make sure to stick around. Let's talk about it. Alright, I'll just show you the lineup. There it is. Go ahead and screenshot it. Like every Apple product cycle, not a whole lot has changed, but the 2 or 3 big improvements are just enough to qualify it as a new model. Ever since the release of Apple Silicon, they haven't really needed to innovate. It was so powerful to an extent other manufacturers are still catching up. Alright, let's start this off. The iPad and iPad mini both come late 2024 with a new chip. That either means the upcoming M4 chip, which would be exciting, or a dedicated tablet chip, which is equally as exciting. Other than that, they're keeping the old designs. Essentially, they're the same devices, just with a newer chip. The iPad Air is coming early 2024 with the same new chip, meaning this will probably be one of the first devices to get M4, or the very first device to get their new dedicated tablet chip. It comes in 2 models now, the same 10.9 in the one that we have now, as well as a 12.9-inch model that we can assume is the old iPad Pro body. That means that the next iPad Air is going to be more powerful than the current iPad Pro. That's pretty epic. And finally, we have the new iPad Pros. They're ditching the 12.9-inch model and giving it to the Air like we said before, and replacing it with a 13-inch model. The leak says it's a total redesign, both the 11 and 13-inch models. Of course, they're both getting M3, Apple's new computer chip, making them way more powerful than they would ever need to be. These really are good Mac alternatives. They have similar specs on the inside, but they cost less. And about that price, we don't know the starting prices yet, but you can use current prices to gauge a ballpark estimate. Alright, there are 2 other Apple headlines that didn't quite fit into their own video, so I'm just going to tack them on here. The EU is now making it possible to sideload apps onto your iPhone, but only in Europe. Great to see. I'm tired of iPhone's monopoly over their phone space. That's why I switched to an Android. I'm glad the EU is starting and continuing to hold Apple accountable for their actions. And if you're against what the EU is doing to Apple right now, you're anti-consumer. There's no other way to put it. Apple places restrictions to make themselves more money and screw over the customer. I have a video about it right there. If you don't think it's a problem, then you've obviously never tried a good Android phone. iPhones just straight up don't work half the time. The EU is trying to fix that. Thing 2, this ad. I saw it on X and it pissed me off. I saw a great tweet summing up my thoughts on it, but I forgot to screenshot it, so here are my thoughts. Basically, Apple wants you to switch to iOS but doesn't want to give Android any credit in the process. If you've never had an Android, you see this ad and decide in your mind subconsciously that you're never going to get one. The Android in the ad next to the iPhone looks ancient in comparison. Because it is. Throughout this ad, they compare the iPhone to Androids like it's one phone. They chose the crappiest Android phone, I guess. Keep in mind, there are Android phones that are better than iPhone in every single bullet point that they've listed. Privacy, cameras, displays, you name it. No matter what, don't give your phone to Apple. They'll just recycle the battery and make way more money than they ever gave you. Just hold on to your phone until it doesn't receive updates anymore, then take it to your local electronics recycler, and they'll probably pay you for it. Alright, that's all I got. Party on, dudes.